Hello and welcome to this taste challenge. We have two uh, blended Scotch whiskeys this morning, and they were both introduced in the 1890s, and they're both obviously from Scotland, and they're both 40% alcohol at this time. Now, they have varied over the years. I've seen advertisements with Dewar's and Dewar's 12-year age from the 1930s. Those advertisements had them rated at 86.6 proof, but now it's 80 proof. 40% alcohol. But this is the Dimple Pinch, or as they call it in Europe, the Dimple, but in the United States, it's the Dimple Pinch. And this thing here is, well, the bottle I bought is 15 years. The youngest whiskey in here is 15 years old, and it's 80 proof. You may see one on your liquor store shelf that says 86 proof, 43% alcohol, and it might say 12-year age. So there could be a combination. It could be a 15-year age, 40%, 15-year age, 43%, 12-year age, 40%, 12-year age, 46%, 43%. And it could be other variants, but there's no website listing, so you're never going to find out. And I was checking all the Diageo regional websites, like Diageo Nigeria and Diageo Kenya and all of this, Diageo Thailand. Nobody has this listed. Nobody. Now here's one that is listed, and they have their own website, and it's Dewar's, John Dewar and Son, Dewar's White Label. Introduced in 1899. This handle bottle was about $27, I think, at Total Wine. It's cheaper. I mean, you know, the Dimple Pinch is going to cost you $35, but I didn't pay that. I got it for $24.99 at Walmart for some inexplicable reason. The Dewar is going to run you about $19, $20 a bottle. All right, so it's like your standard whiskey, right? So it's like Crown Royal, Jack Daniels, Johnny Walker Red Label, Jameson. It's at that $20 price range. Okay. No age statement. So it's at least 3 years old, but I don't know the age statement. They don't give one. Some people say it's 3 years, but there is no statement on the bottle. It's double aged for extra smoothness. Double aged meaning they age each whiskey separately. So all the grain whiskeys are aged separately, and then the single malts are over here aging. Then they blend them together, and once they finish blending them, then they age them a second time all together. So by appointment to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Scotch Whiskey Distillers John Dewar and Son Limited. So they are produced according to a royal warrant as one of the official whiskeys of the royal family. So there's that lion walking on a crown at the top, like prancing, you know, like I'm haughty. And you see that on the where is it? Oh, you see that on the crest here, and you see it on the Governor General's flag of Canada, the Queen's representative in Canada, and on Australia and New Zealand, that same prancing lion. But in Canada, the lion's holding a maple leaf on the Governor General's flag. But it's the same. It's that same actual device. All right. Anyway, I've been having a lot of trouble with Dimple Pinch. I'm gonna tell you right now. I got it 4 times in a row. Got it wrong. Why is that? Could be a number of reasons. Like, I don't know how to taste whiskey very well, but I think the real reason is that a lot of these are just so standardized. What I mean is they don't taste that different one from another. You might think they do. You say, I know they do, because I've tried them all, you know, and they got all these, and I wrote reviews, and I wrote written reviews for all of these too. But the real proof is the blind taste test, when you don't know what you're tasting. And it becomes a lot more difficult. So I would recommend if you do a blind tasting, do it live so that there's credibility there. Like people don't think that you try to, play around, and make sure you had it right, but do it live. And secondly, make sure you got labels down there so you can remember which is which. And thirdly, only do 2 at a time, one against another. Because I've seen people do where they bring in like 7 different whiskeys or rums in there, and they got all these tags and all, and it's like, this one tastes like that, and that one tastes like that, this one tastes like that, and that one tastes like this. And it becomes very confusing. And I mean, it's interesting. Like the guy I was watching, he said, I got 4 out of 7 right in all of this. And next time he got 5 out of 7. And the next time he only got 3 out of 7. But I think it's it's too many variables with that. These are both screw caps, no cork. Here's the 3 Ds, interlocking Ds, John Dewar, this Johnny Jr., and Tommy. Okay. The 2 sons were the ones that really grew the company. The father founded it, but the 2 sons got it really rolling. It got so popular that it was one of the top selling whiskeys in the world. And people say this is the top selling, I think the company said the top selling blended Scotch whiskey in the United States. Now we know the top selling one in the world is Johnny Walker. But apparently in the United States, the top selling blended whiskey is Dewar's. Well, I see it everywhere, so it must be true. Very likely true. So you could still test everything against everything else by just doing a round robin tournament. And a round robin tournament, if you're not aware of that, it means one thing goes against every other thing. Okay, each Scotch battles each other Scotch, or each tequila goes against every other one that you have, assuming that they're the same style. Now, I can understand if you say, well, I don't really feel comfortable doing a single malt Speyside against a single malt Isla, something like that. Well, yeah, like with beer, if you do taste challenges, do all stouts, do all pilsners, do all light beers, do all fruit flavored beers, and it would be all apple flavor, try to keep it kind of sensible in that sense. Or it could be all Scotch ales, which are hard to find these days. Anyway, got deep gold and not so deep gold. So the Dewar's is lighter. I can see that. Not much. It's minimal. So Dewar's is pretty common more or less every store. I would say in Louisiana, though, Johnny Walker is more common. Like if you go to any liquor store, they're going to always have Johnny Walker red label Scotch. Dewar's they'll probably have. I'm trying to think what's one that they're going to always have, like one Scotch whiskey they're going to always have. I'm talking about like every gas station and grocery store and convenience store, because in Louisiana, they all sell liquor. Unless you're in a parish where they don't allow that. Like Baton Rouge, East Baton Rouge Parish, you have to go to a liquor store to buy liquor. You can't get it at the grocery store or the convenience store. Well, you can get it at the grocery store, but it's a separate store, theoretically. Like if you go to Albertsons, they got Albertsons in their liquor department, which is detached. You have to walk through a door to go in there, or you can enter from an outside door. I mean, it's a sham. You know what I mean? It's a sham law because it's obviously the same store, but they're trying to comply with the law. But in this parish and other parishes, there is no rule like that. Just you sell gasoline, you're a AutoZone. Well, it's auto parts. I mean, racetrack or Raceway in Baton Rouge. Well, no, it couldn't be in Baton Rouge. Raceway. If you're in a parish, Raceway is independent owned racetrack. Racetrack is owned by the corporation. Raceway is a independent that has a deal with the corporation. Or Chevron station by liquor, you know. All right. Everybody's got Jameson. Everybody's got Jack Daniels. Obviously, everybody's got Crown Royal. You know that as well as I do. Everybody's got Jim Beam. Everybody's got Jose Cuervo. Everybody's got Hennessy if they can get it these days with the supply chain shortage. But you know what I'm saying? They just surprise everybody around here. Everybody's gonna have Taka vodka, and a lot of gas stations sell Skull, which is cheaper when you really got the shakes, but you got no money. I shouldn't say that because that might be a good product, although it is curiously cheap. This smells like I get the honey, but I'm getting a little bread dough, which could be the single malts. Think of what brand. Well, what brandy? They're gonna all have Hennessy, and they almost certainly gonna have Paul Masson. Maybe E&J Gallo, but it seems like Paul Masson is more popular around here. E&J brandy's popular. I think Paul Masson is more popular. I think so. Talking about Louisiana. Okay, one is no age statement, and one is 15-year aged. But I'm not picking up a whole lot of aroma difference, to tell you the truth. It's a lot of honey, white bread dough, and like cereal grain, just like old people cereal, we call that. You know, when you go to the grocery store and on the top shelf, they got the old people cereal, but the children don't want to eat it. You know, they say, I don't want to eat Special K or grape nuts or Kellogg's bran flakes or whatever. Oh, that's probably better for them. But, you know, but it just tastes like that stuff. Now, I used to like that stuff when I was little, you know, like my grandpa and them, they would eat grape nuts. I liked it, but you can only pour a little bit in a bowl. You'd be so full because it's like dense. It's like lead, you know, it's got the density of lead, but it's like the lead and the cereal version of lead. Jason Cleveland says, good morning, Jay. You have a blessed day. You too, Jason. Craig Swinson says, I love old people cereal. Yes. And I was eating a traditional cereal this week. Cornflakes with milk and topped with honey. And what was the honey I was using? I think Bernard's honey. It's like a local. It doesn't matter. Okay, Dewars, what did they say here? I would read off of the Dimple Pinch, but there ain't none. There's an independent guy who's a fan of Dimple Pinch, and he's got a website, but I noticed he made mistakes on it. So, like some of the things he's saying, it's not accurate about U.S. market. He says the Dimple Pinch sent to the United States is 86 proof. I'll say, well, right there, that's wrong because I'm looking at it at 80 proof on the shelf. In 1892, while out with friends in New York, Tommy Dewar asked for his whiskey to be served in a tall glass along with soda and ice. And so the original highball was born, they claim. I don't know how they can prove that. And became the perfect drink to enhance the smoothness of whiskey. Tall glass, bunch of ice, some lemon, soda, water. I wouldn't want to drink that. It'd be so watered down. So flavor notes, citrus, pear, and honey. Well, I got the honey in the nose. Citrus and pear. Well, you got to admit, they got a sharp looking label. Well, both of them are sharp looking, but the Dewars especially. Crappertastic. Happy 5th of May. Cheers. Yep. Cinco de Mayo. A holiday that's not really celebrated in Mexico. It's sort of like it's like Arbor Day here. You know, people know about it, but it's not really too common. But it was, if you read about the history of Cinco de Mayo, it's always been a holiday, but like I say, obscure holiday. But a lot of Americans think it's Mexico's Independence Day, which it is not. That's in September. That's the big celebration in Mexico. But it was really developed by bar and grill owners, bar room and Mexican restaurant owners who got together and said, let's promote this holiday, like around 1971 in Los Angeles, and we could drum up some business, you know, and make it a theme. So, you know, it's like a Mexican style American holiday is what it really is. So people will say, you know, don't dress in a sombrero and stuff because you're appropriating their culture for your holiday. Yeah, but the whole holiday is appropriated. So it'd be appropriate to appropriate their culture because you already did it because the holiday is appropriated for all intents and purposes. But the same people that say that will run around with a Lucky Charms outfit on St. Patty's Day, St. Patrick's Day. Those same people that's preaching against appropriating Cinco de Mayo, which I already said is basically an inappropriate holiday, they'll run around on so they have selective morality. We've talked about that in the past. So taste. Offended on something by principle, but then they're not offended on a different thing, but that had the same principle. And I've talked to people about that. I said, but you're offended by this over here because of this particular principle that you stated. But over here, it's the same principle, but it doesn't bother you. Occasionally people will say, you're right, I hadn't thought about it like that. But usually it's like they don't communicate with you anymore. All right, this tastes like the bread cora. Bread, honey top bread, crust, and bread dough. What is it? I don't know really. It tastes good. It's mild. It's mellow. It's sort of, you know, like a lot of these $20 bottles. They kind of blah, kind of ordinary, run of the mill. But then I've tasted $80 bottles are kind of like that too. So let's see. It's funny how all the lefties are suddenly the authority on morals these days. Well, they always have been, according to them. You know, says Burley. Yes, they are the authority by virtue of them just saying it. But that's the ultimate irony with them, because they will make these pronouncements. And then if you try to engage them, they'll either cuss you out or block you. And I'm like, that's sort of a strange method of promoting immorality, that you tout it everywhere and trumpet it, but if people question you on it, and they may just be sincerely questioning you, trying to find out what you were talking about, and you blow a gasket and cancel them out, that's not a really, I would say that's a very weak defense of your position, or wouldn't you say so? This is very similar to that, but I think I am picking up some pear and citrus and like honey, perhaps. And I did say that on their website. Honey, which they both have, pear and citrus. But it could be just a trick in my mind, a trick of the light, like the Who would say. Saludos de Mexico, amigos, says Alonso Santiago. Hello, Alonso. Thanks for watching. Craig Swinson says cultural appropriation. The Yeah. It's the same old story. But people are waking up all over the world. Talking about being woke, people are waking up to the scam, to the sham. You know what I'm saying? They're saying, well, you're just a man standing behind a curtain, running a little switchboard. And they're saying, pay no mind to that man behind the curtain. I am the great and powerful authority of morality. And you say, you're not. You're not great and you're not powerful and you're no authority. You're just a humbug. If you watch that movie carefully, it's sort of an allegory of that whole concept. Ron had to censor that one. Well, discretion is the better part of valor. Liberal logic is a true mystery, borderline personality disorder. I would agree with that. Borderline psychopathy, which is the worst sort of personality disorder. Sociopathy, which is an incurable illness because it's rooted in a desire to be evil. um these two products are not remarkable in their flavor really, but they're probably remarkable in their consistency. You know what I'm saying? Their quality assurance. What I mean by that is I bet if you went anywhere in the world and you tried these, the 15-year age 40% and the no age statement 40%, it would like always be the same. You know what I'm saying? Like it would never, assuming that the environmental conditions were correct. um but as far as their flavor notes, they're just sort of like just regular, which I don't think is indicative of badness. Some people will translate it that way. There's something standard in its flavor that it's somehow it's bad. It's bad. That's bad. When it might just be ordinary. And we know the old story on this channel. People say Budweiser's bad because it's just like kind of standard. When it's not bad, it's just standard. That's why it's popular, because it's a standardized product. Okay, these days the truth is always censored. Well, I don't censor the truth, of course, but you have to remember the ballpark in which you are playing. You know what I'm saying? At this particular time, and we intend that it will not always be that way. That's why we say hail to our eternal victory. So cheers to everybody. Um, but you know what I mean? Be wise. Jesus said, be as gentle as a lamb and as wise as a serpent. And I think that's something I have tried to do. I've tried to be as gentle as a lamb and as wise as a serpent. A lot of people don't take that approach, so they wind up in a bit of a mess. Okay, like a bull in a china. The bull in the china shop approach may not necessarily be the right approach. Sometimes it is, but it would depend on the situation. Okay. Now with doing a taste challenge like this, you would want to be, careful, because first of all, they're very difficult to tell one from the other. And so you have to be careful. Even that won't work. It hasn't worked 4 times in a row. I've tried to be careful, but it hasn't worked out. I made a video years ago. It's still posted. It's called, and it's like a review of history over the last hundreds of years. It's called I can't remember the title exactly, but it's explicit versus implicit explanations of conspiratorial activity through the years. I think that's what it's called, something along those lines. And it went through how some people take that, like I said, the bull in a china shop approach of explicit explanations versus those who would be more of an implied approach, which was a very good video, I thought. Now this one here is kind of like in the recent video where I say it was like a nougat, like Three Musketeers bar, or almost like Johnny Neely calls it the almond extract that you get with Canadian whiskeys. They have this almond extract flavor. They don't use almond extract in them. But I noticed that with this one, and I think that it might be the Dimple Pinch. I'm going to say this is Dimple Pinch, but honestly, I'm not really tasting a quality difference one versus the other. So if I could get Dewar's for $18.99, or I could pay $35.99 for the Dimple Pinch, it's pretty obvious I'm going to go with the Dewar's because it's a lot cheaper, and really you haven't lost anything. Other people would disagree. Some people go, fanatical if you say Dewar's. Oh, that's garbage. That's trash. My father, he went to prison over that. That's terrible stuff. I've killed him, and but it's like, it's not trash. Checking in, Ron says Jeep and Foodie. Hey, good to see you. Have you tried Hard Mountain Dew? No, I haven't, but I've heard about it. Burley, I've heard about it, but I haven't actually seen it. I might have seen a 12-pack and I thought, I barely bear. That's why my fridge is still full of most of that 12-pack from the doggone Margaritaville flavor beers. Why is it full? Because I can barely tolerate drinking them. They're not bad. It's just I don't like drinking that kind of stuff. But I'm trying to choke them down, Now I know people in my life, they would drink the whole 12-pack in 2 days. Explicit versus implicit. Haha, sorry, I was trying to search that video, not make a comment. Oh, that's all right. Oh yeah, you typed it and it came, put it in the wrong spot. Okay. So I think this is Dewar's, but I'm really definitely not in any way confident in that. Huh, got it right. Can't believe it. Oh, well, I did make a few statements earlier that sort of kind of like was leading me to think it was Dewar's. Although over here earlier I was talking about pear and citrus. So I tell you what, if on a 100-point scale, you say, what is the similarity versus dissimilarity with these two? I would say it's 90% similar and they're 10% dissimilar. And I'm sorry, one is aged 15 years. I get that. I understand. I'm well aware. I have the bottle here right there on the desk. But I'm just not seeing that big of a difference. And if Diageo got angry about it and said, let me tell you something, we have a rich history and all this, my counterpoint would be, well, if it's that awesome, why you don't even have a website for it? And I would tell them, you don't even have it listed. You don't even have it listed on your brand explorer. So I would tell them, don't come at me talking about the rich history of it and how dare I say it's no better or worse than Dewar's white label. I would say, you don't care about it. You clearly don't care about it. You don't even have a website listing. Is it good? Yeah, it's good. I gave it an A. I was glad I got it for $24.99. I was going to buy it for $35, but I wasn't going to buy it like real quick. I was going to get it down the road, but when I saw it for $24.99, I jumped on it very quickly. Dimple Pinch didn't get the best of you this time. No, not this time. Now, what's going to happen next week when I do Dewar's 12-year versus Dimple Pinch? I would hope the 12-year is going to win, but they're the same price. They're the same price. You basically looking Oh, well, maybe the 12-year is $32 and the Dimple Pinch is 35. But you know, they're close. They're very close. And I would say it's going to be a toss-up, but I'm thinking in my head, because where do you think? In your mind, right? Not in your fingertips or in your back. I think the Dewar's 12 is going to have a slight edge, but I'm not entirely sure about that. And we got a great deal on that. We paid a price that is so low. Say me and my friend David. When I tell you what I paid for that bottle, you're going to think he's lying. Like, why does he get on the internet and lie? I'm not lying. That's absolutely the truth. And secondly, I did pay $9.99 for the Gibson's Finest Rare for the handle bottle. I can't really explain it except that I bought it, you know. Maxwell House and Louisiana Beer Reviews. That's how you start your day. Cheers. Yeah, but some other people would say the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup and Louisiana Beer Reviews, naturally. Cotton Eye Joe. I like Maxwell House. That started in Tennessee at a restaurant, at a hotel. True story. Started at a hotel. And it got, well, you know, it got bought out. Like they always get bought out. I never heard a Dimple Pinch before your videos. Ron is the liquor scout. I think that's true in some ways. I had been seeing this product for a number of years, many years. Didn't know what to think of it. Never heard anybody talk about it. Never saw a video review for it, but there are many. I never heard anything bad about it. On the other hand, I never heard anything good about it. I never heard anything about it. I just saw it. It is a cool bottle. Okay. That's all I knew about it. All I knew about it was on the shelf. And that was it. Of course, I did the research. Dewar's, yeah, I had a few people over the years mention Dewar's. You know, I thought it was called Dewar's. You know, when I saw it over the year, I thought it was pronounced Dewar's, which it could be, but it's Dewar's, but it could be Dewar's. Just like Robert. In Louisiana, people say Robert. Everybody else say Robert. His last name is Robert. Robert grocery store. But here they say Robert's. I'm going to Robert's. Strange, but that's what people say. All right. Has any of the big distilleries ever approached you to be an influencer for them on YouTube? No. An influencer. Here I am, distilleries. I can do 5. I'm willing to do up to 5 Dewar's videos per day. You hear what I'm saying? 5 a day. You say, but you'll die. It'll kill you if you do that much. No, because I didn't say I was going to drink a lot. I would just do 5 little bitty. All right. Well, that was a pretty interesting challenge. It was certainly challenging. The differences were enough for me to get it right, but it was close. I mean, it doesn't prove much. Now, if I get the 12-year age right on the second thing next week, yeah, it'll prove a little bit. Won't prove that I'm so good at doing taste challenge. It'll prove that Dewar's has a distinct little flavor. And then then the Dewar's illegal mezcal, aged in mezcal barrels or finished in mezcal. Ain't no way I'm getting that wrong. No way, Jose. Oh, Jose, Cinco de Mayo. All right. Well, enjoy your tacos and your fajitas and all your Mexican themed foods and your debauchery. And I will say farewell, and but not for long, because we're going to be back at 6:30 Eastern time tonight for Thunder and Thursday, liquors and liqueurs. The distillers probably wouldn't like your honesty. They probably would like my honesty, because usually I'm talking about how good the stuff is. So that's like a deal for them, because I'm always saying, oh, it's really good. It's really good. They may not like the fact that I'm saying it's really good, but it's no different than the other one that's $10 cheaper. Well, yeah, maybe you're right. All right. Thanks, everybody.